say is boycott Britney Spears.
On August the 4th, the internet was changed forever. Viewers of Perez Hilton's TikTok Live watched a psychological crisis unfold in real time. Thankfully, the police were able to intervene in time. However, that TikTok Live should have gotten taken down immediately. In an algorithm where if you do so little as speak out against the president, your account gets banned. It's crazy how the mutilation of a man clearly going through something remained up on TikTok Live for an hour. Regardless about how you feel about Perez Hilton, the algorithm failed him. And if it wasn't for all those people who contacted the authorities, we may not have them today. But just because that would happen was a tragedy, it should not erase the legacy of hatred that Perez Hilton has spent the last 20 years profiting off of. From Britney to Lindsay, from Ariana to Amanda, from Miley to will.i.am. If you were anything big in the 2000s, chances are that at one point or another, Perez Hilton harassed you for a quick buck. Everybody wants to talk Y2K? Well, let's talk about the real Y2K. If you were in the 2000s and a pop star, your life was a living hell. And Perez Hilton was the devil himself. Let's talk about it.
Leave me alone, Britney.
Okay, so how exactly did Perez Hilton go from a struggling actor to the certified mean girl of MySpace? Madonna once said that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and I suppose Perez felt that right in his right bosom. Well, his start's actually quite courageous. He used to write a column in The Advocate, a popular LGBTQ magazine. Soon enough, his main... It's a tongue twister. Soon enough, his main game became dishing the dirt on celebrities. When you think about the many victims of Perez Hilton's career, the same names pop in your mind. Britney Spears, Ariana Grande, Lindsay Lohan, even Miley Cyrus. However, none of those were his first victim. His first victim was actually a man, a gay man, a certain gay member of a boy band. Backstreet's back, am I right? Nah, we're talking about Lance Bass. You really thought, though.
The media bullying was after NSYNC, and when blogs became really popular, and Perez Hilton and those type of people, those were ones that really started attacking me and really trying to pull me out of the closet, but not in a very healthy way.
Yes, queer icon Lance Bass was outed by none other than Perez Hilton. The timeline is actually really crazy, so I read a paper for it. Unfortunately, I have the memory of a goldfish, so I had to write it down on a piece of paper. So let's do it together. In 2005, Perez begins insinuating that Lance Bass is gay on his vlog, of course, perezhilton.com. And of course, obviously, outing someone is not it, even in the big 2-6. People should come out when they're ready. But it's even crazier than that, because in Christmas, when I think Lance was hanging out with Kathy Griffin, on his blog, you know what Perez calls him? He calls him the F-slur, which is crazy. And then in 2006 of July, Lance comes out as gay. Around this time for a lot of LGBTQ people, it becomes really obvious that Perez just low-key straight up outed him like a year before he was ready. And even Lance admits this in an interview. Part of the reason why he was forced to come out so early was because of all this harassment Perez was giving him. And when he tries defending himself on Access Hollywood, this is what Perez says. I have it on the paper because I have terrible memory. If you know something to be a fact, then why report it? The only way we're gonna have change is visibility, which I guess is true. But this is where it gets crazy. And if I have to drag some people out of the closet kicking and screaming, I will. Like, girl, who do you think you are, Perez? The crazy thing is, even after Lance Bass came out of the closet, the harassment didn't end. Perez, you know what he called him? Princess Frosty Locks. Like, what the hell? If you think Perez Hilton outing a gay man is bad, then the shit that he put Britney through over the next 10 years from 2006 to even like 2020 is straight up unforgivable. Buckle up, because we're about to enter some real deep shit, people. It's Britney, bitch.
Thank you, Britney Spears. Being bad is good for my business.
Oh, I know that.
She was by far the person I wrote about the most on my website.
Just immediately after Perez Hilton outed Lance Bass as gay, he set his sights on a new target, that target being our very own Britney Spears.
Perez Hilton's obsession with Britney actually started all the way back in around 2004 with his website, Page 666. But his rise to the mainstream didn't really happen until around 2007, thanks to Britney, of course. Around this time, Britney Spears was at peak public scrutiny, and Perez was directly making $50,000 a week off the exploitation of America's biggest star. Every day, with all of America waiting on her downfall, Perez would post altered pictures of Britney Spears with gross MS Paint captions. He would insinuate that she was a bad mom, that Britney was a train wreck. Then he would go in person with his camera and harass her, constantly, day after day. When Britney finally had enough and took back her power in the now iconic shaved head incident, Perez followed X17 and uploaded the photos to his website, shaming her on his vlog, and then even going on talk shows afterwards to throw jabs at Britney in front of a live studio audience.
Not only that, but on his website, he insinuated that Blackout was a flop album, and I'm just gonna take a second here to sort of literally like say, bitch, what the fuck? Because Blackout is one of the greatest modern pop albums of all time. It inspired Brat, inspired like Electroclash, all that stuff. So like Perez is literally like, he does not know what the fuck he's talking about. But even besides the point, back to what I was saying. In 2007, during Britney's VMA comeback, Perez posted unflattering photos of her that were photoshopped to his website, insinuating that the comeback failed, adding more harassment when Britney was already going through a terrible time. And during when Britney was admitted to rehab, which started her conservatorship, because her parents literally like cornered her and forced her into rehab so they can take her money, Perez was doing these countdown clocks to where he thought Britney was gonna not make it. And it's like, he literally actively contributed to Britney Spears getting to conservatorship and actively accelerated her mental breakdown just for 10 years later to sort of jump on the bandwagon of free Britney when he was one of the people who actively contributed to that. With that being said, he did apologize to Britney Spears, but I don't know how much of it is genuine and how much of it is just PR, you know? And the thing about Perez is you would think that, if anything, the harassment about Britney would stop after 2007. No, look at this clip when he was talking about Amanda Bynes on the Wendy Williams show.
Yes. Allegedly. I'm not saying she's doing fraud, but there are reports that she might be, and there's rumors and speculation, and I've heard things. You know, same with other famous people, maybe somebody whose initials are BS. I'm not saying who.
The crazy thing about this is that we are barely scratching the surface of all the shit that Perez Hilton did. Let me know if y'all want a part 2 to this or an even more extensive deep dive. I just did a summary really quickly just to talk about this because it's been something that I've been wanting to talk about for the past couple of days. I just haven't had time, honestly, and I haven't had time to film a YouTube video, so I just missed filming it for y'all. So that's pretty much it. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you so much for 700 subscribers. Have a nice day.